All right, guys, let us know if you can see us, if you can hear us. I see we
What's
got a
up?
couple eyes that are coming in here. Let us know in the comments. Drop your name, drop your location. Drop us if you're in your kitchen watching, if you're in the living room watching, getting everybody on board for this cooking class with Chef Aris Johnson.
Hey, my whole government.
Listen, bro, it's out
Love
there.
it.
It's out
I
there.
know. I know.
It's out there. It's out there. Okay, I'm seeing more eyes come in No Madness Travel Tribe. We got a Michelle from DC, Monica from Indy. Is that Indiana? Indianapolis. I'm taking it. Melody in NYC. She says she's coming to us from the kitchen. Pump you up there.
Nice.
I love it. I love
Nice.
it. I
Nice.
love it. Ebony's in here, says we look great, sound great. I see Eartha in here already with the firing off. Eartha, you be in. I know you're in the kitchen right now, listening, watching into this. Eartha, I already know you. We
I
got
love it.
Ebony
I
up
saw the
here. Looks
flames.
great, sounds great, awesome. All right, so it looks like we're in it. So without further ado, it is actually a pleasure and an honor anytime that myself or No Madness is able to work with the likes of Chef Aris Johnson. It is always a treat. Somebody that I respect for her craft, that I respect as a person. This woman
Oh,
has
thank you.
come to South Africa with us, has created her own relationships with schools there as a professor. Shouts out to JHB in Joburg, South Africa. She has
Woo.
come to Panama with us. You have come to where? Turks and Caicos with us. She's like our resident,
Tokyo.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like our resident
Brazil.
chef, killing it, doing the damn thing. But we've also been
Yeah.
able to see her grow in her own right as a chop champion, somebody who definitely knows her way around any kitchen you put her in. And for Thanksgiving in November of 2017, we actually had the honor of being able to host Thanksgiving dinner at the James Beard House in New York City. And that featured chef who came through with her Brooklyn swag, but her New Orleans. I hope I said it right.
That's
New
right.
Orleans.
7 what? Yeah.
You ain't coming
Let me
after
not
me.
throw up any.
You
Yeah.
ain't coming after me. Her New Orleans
Let me keep my
stylistic
signs to
vibe. She's
minimum.
absolutely amazing. A true chef to the core. Featured all over the place. I'm really just gonna send it over to you so we can talk to the people about what we're doing here. Chef Aris Johnson, we really appreciate you bringing this to the people. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So what's up, everybody? Thank you, Evie. Thank you, No Madness, for having me. We're in like some really strange times right now. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people are at home doing a lot of cooking. So if you're gonna be at home cooking, I think you should be at home cooking properly. Like, don't be out there cooking trash food. Make it nice. So, as Evie said, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And so today we're going to do a pretty staple dish from New Orleans called crawfish etouffee. Now, I'm using crawfish. I have some crawfish tail meat that was some frozen crawfish tails imported from the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana. But they were frozen tails. And so what I always like to do with my frozen tails, I did it already. I give them a rinse just with some cold water because usually when they freeze things, they use different types of solutions to keep it fresh for a long time. So I just rinsed it with some cold water. But a pro tip, because if you rinse them with cold water and you taste them, they're flavorless. So what I do after I wash them, I salt them. So I just take like maybe like a tablespoon of salt, toss it, and so that way we're starting to build flavors like out the gate before we even turn the fire on. So this is 1 pound of crawfish tails, and we'll get back to those. So I just want to make sure everybody can see the stove
Yep. So I'm
and
gonna
see
take
my
off our
ingredients, see my
banner.
pan.
There you go. All
Yep.
good.
All right. All right. All right. So yeah, so we're gonna get started. So if you don't know much about New Orleans, Louisiana Cajun Creole cuisine, I'm gonna unbiasedly say that it's the best food in America, possibly some of the best food in the world. And we take really, really simple ingredients, but the key to our flavors, our big flavors, is that we build flavors. So I just gave you an example of how we build flavors with the crawfish tail meat. I salted it. If you ever have been to New Orleans and have eaten boiled crawfish, peel and eat, one of the processes before you boil a crawfish is to actually salt the crawfish as well, to just pack in as much flavor as possible. All right, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna turn on my stove. So the first thing, the first base to the etouffee, crawfish etouffee, is a sauce, and it's served over rice. Crawfish etouffee, I like to say, is like the light skinned cousin of gumbo. It's like the light skinned, saucy cousin of gumbo. So the base of it, which is the same base of gumbo, is a roux. And a roux is a combination of fat and flour. So fat can be oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, butter, bacon fat, any type of fat, and flour. So today I'm using canola oil. I know a lot of people like to get real healthy, and you feel healthy when you're cooking with EVOO, olive oil. Don't use olive oil. One, because it tastes like olives, and we don't want that in our etouffee. And two, because it burns really, really fast. It's not really made for like long cooking. So you want to use oil that has a high smoke point, meaning that it won't burn. So like canola oil, vegetable oil, grapeseed oil, all of these oils have a high smoke point, not olive oil. No, no to olive
We got
oil.
it. No olive
All
oil.
right, so I
Don't
got my
alter the taste.
pan. What's that?
I said, we got it. No olive oil. Don't
Couldn't hear
alter
you,
the
Evie.
taste. And it's not good for long-term heat. Those are great pro tips. Thank you.
Yes, for sure, for sure. So I just added my flour. One of the keys with roux is that you want to have equal parts fat, equal parts flour. So in my pan right now, I have 4 tablespoons of canola oil, and I just added 4 tablespoons of flour. Easy peasy. No crazy measurements, just 1 to 1. That's it. So I'm gonna get this flour just incorporated into the fat, and I'm gonna cook it out for a while. I'm gonna cook it out, one, to cook the flour so our sauce doesn't have like a powdery, floury taste or mouthfeel, and then two, for flavor. So the color we want our roux is gonna be peanut butter brown. So the more you cook it, the more you cook the fat and the flour, it gets like this deep, nutty flavor that is the base of this dish. And also, a purpose of a roux is actually it's a thickening agent. So this roux is going to help bring some viscosity and some body to our sauce, to our etouffee. So making the roux takes a minute. If anybody has any questions, or if anybody is cooking along with me at the same time, like now is a good time because there's going to be some stirring
Nice.
happening.
So you have somebody that said this is also where grapeseed oil comes in clutch. I know just from knowing you, I've actually pulled back from using EVOO off of your recommendation, and grapeseed oil is
Yeah.
also an option for me. So here's my question: is that like a good viable option? One of our Facebook users wants to know.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a good viable option. It has a higher smoke point than olive oil. And like one of the dangers of burning olive oil is once it starts smoking, it actually releases carcinogens that are toxic. They're not going to
Wow.
kill you, but yeah, but you also don't want to like ingest them a lot over time. So I see people want to cook with olive oil all the time, thinking that it's super healthy. Grapeseed oil is a great healthy choice. Um, honestly, you know, any oil. Because if you're sauteing or you're making a roux, you're not cooking with enough of it that it's gonna like affect your health in a negative way. You know.
Right. So somebody
So
watching is looking for some clarity on that. They said, wait, so should we never cook with olive oil or just this meal? So are there instances where olive oil is still good and healthy for us? Or is it just a no-no?
so you can cook olive oil. You can cook with olive oil. I think it's best used like just in raw preparations, like as an addition to something after it's already cooked, or if you're cooking something really, really fast, like maybe like flashing like some vegetables or something, like cooking it really, really quickly and like in and out. And also if you kind of want the faint taste of olives, because at the end of the day, olive oil tastes like olives. And so that's another major reason outside of like the carcinogens and stuff, like olive oil, coconut oil, like these things actually flavor your food in a way that you might not want to. But yeah, to answer that question, if you flash sauteing some like some vegetables or something, it's okay. But like you're definitely not gonna deep fry chicken in olive oil. And you definitely don't want to make a roux with olive oil either.
Got it. Great, great
So I
tip.
hope that answers your question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your New Orleans roots. While we're in the midst of our
sure.
food, talk about how it is has inspired your food. How did you kind of get into this whole? Everybody's life path is different, right? So how did you get into your food? What's your relationship to it, and to where you come from?
So, good question. My first relationship with food is just eating it. Like growing up in New Orleans, like from a baby, you know, you eat the food. So as a baby, I was eating gumbo, red beans and rice, jambalaya, fried catfish, fried shrimp, boiled crawfish, like all that good stuff. So that's where it was first, I guess, instilled into my cultural ID. But like me actually becoming a chef was like a total accident. Like I went to school for marketing. I wanted to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I thought that cooking was domestic and like for housewives and like not for the kid. But you know, God is a funny guy or girl, and I was living on campus at Southern University, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and you know, long story short, the cafeteria food was trash some days. So my roommate and I had like two hot plates inside our room, and one day I just decided to cook. I cooked smothered pork chops, green beans with potatoes, and rice and gravy. Turns out it tasted pretty good. I didn't have a recipe. Fed it to some people. They enjoyed it. I enjoyed the feeling of getting instant feedback from you know, preparing something coming from my hands and giving it to another person. And kind of after that, like the rest is history. I graduated, moved to New York, went to culinary school, and I've just been cooking ever since.
That's so awesome. And you've cooked with some of the biggest names. We have somebody that asked, where is this? What ward are you from?
I'm from the Seven Ward. If you're checking, if you know about that,
I know
I'm
Aris is
from
like,
the
all right,
Seven Ward.
who asked that question? Just so I know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm from the Seven Ward in real life, born and raised.
I
So
love
I
it.
don't
I
know if you
love it.
can see. I'll hold
Yes.
this closer to the camera, but you see how it's starting to turn into a peanut butter brown color. That's the roux. All right.
Nice. So this is kind of the
So I'm
base
returning
of
it to the heat. It's a nice color that I like. So now I'm going to start building more flavor. So I have some onion. This is about three-fourths to like a whole small onion, small diced. I'm going to add it to the roux, cook it in the roux. And it's a method to this, why I'm adding things one at a time and not adding them all together. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you dice vegetables, you dump it all in the pot. Not so much with this type of cooking. So I'm adding my onions. So another pro tip with onions is that when you have a roux, like maybe if you're making gumbo, you want to get a really dark brown roux, like the color of dark chocolate, and it takes a long time for the roux to cook. So a way to kind of speed it up is maybe when you get to like milk chocolate colored roux, you can add your onions to cook in the roux, and the onions have sugars in them, and they start to caramelize, and that will make your roux darker. So if you get tired, even with the etouffee, you like, oh my God, I'm tired of stirring. It's not getting to caramel color just yet. When is it going to happen? You could actually add your onions to help speed up the process and let the onions cook in the roux, and it'll actually help the roux get a little bit darker. So that's a chef tip too.
Thank you for that. We appreciate
So I
that.
got my onions. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
So I got my onions in here, and it's gonna look kind of funny. It's gonna seize up. It's gonna look a little chalky. Don't worry about it. That's how it's supposed to look. Just keep on going. I'm gonna actually turn my fire up a little bit because I want my onions to cook. I'm actually gonna add a little salt too. You want to season things like every step of the way. So remember, I already said that I salted my crawfish tails. So I already started seasoning, like I said, before I even started cooking it. So I added a little salt, not too much, just a pinch. I'm gonna add a little pepper as well. You don't need a lot of crazy spices. And I know that sounds crazy for me to say because I actually sell spices, but you don't. You know, I'll let you in a little secret. The main two spices that I use all the time are like salt and pepper. And I like to season food with like actual vegetables. So, like these onions are going to give it a flavor. They're going to have like a mild, sweet onion flavor. I'm adding celery now. This is about two stalks of celery. I cut really small, small dice. The celery is going to give it another flavor. And so we just want to layer these flavors as we go. And so by the time you get to the final dish, you should be able to be like, wow, I taste everything. Like, I taste what all of these supporting actors and actresses gave to this dish. And that's how food should taste. It shouldn't taste like one big salt bomb, or all your food shouldn't taste the same either. That's kind of like the trick too to Louisiana cuisine. If you look at a lot of New Orleans or Cajun recipes, most of them have almost exactly the same ingredients in them. Like we have our own, we call it the Holy Trinity, and that's onions, celery, and green peppers, and sometimes special guest star garlic to that trinity. And that's like in so many recipes, that's the base to so many recipes. But what makes things taste different is that we really pay attention to each ingredient, like I said, and what each ingredient lends to the dish. So if it's gumbo, the roux adds a level of flavor, but we add in that same trinity. The more you cook, the deeper, the richer, the nuttier the flavor of the roux is. And so then you add that same trinity, but then we're going to add sausage. Maybe we'll add okra, chicken, shrimp. We're going to use some seafood stock. And all of those things together give you like the big flavors of gumbo. You got to think back in the day, nobody had like Tony Chachere's and shit. People were
Right,
just using salt, pepper, real garlic, real onions.
right.
Mm, yeah. So now I'm adding some green peppers. This is like a small green pepper. And another thing, I'm just using things that I have at home. Like I know a lot of we can't really leave the house, or at least we're not supposed to. And I know in a lot of different cities and states, like groceries and stuff are limited. And so I've been doing a lot of cooking classes online. And so, like, some of these ingredients I'm using, like these green peppers, for instance, I cut them with one of my students, but I also had like some baby pearl onions mixed in there. I just added that into here too. So use what you have. This is like a time to really use what you have.
I appreciate that. Also,
This is looking good.
be another alternative if they don't have crawfish in the house. Is there another protein that they could substitute for the crawfish?
Absolutely. So you can use chicken if you want to. You can use shrimp if you want to. If you're vegetarian, I think mushrooms would be a really good addition to it if you want to. Yeah, whatever you like. Traditionally, it's made with shrimp or with crawfish, but you can definitely use whatever you want, honestly. Just
Nice,
as long
nice,
as you have this base going. So I'm gonna
awesome.
add a little Cajun seasoning to this. And lastly, garlic. I'm adding the garlic. This is about maybe 3 cloves of garlic minced just because I like a lot of garlic, but you don't have to use that much. I add the garlic last because garlic cooks really fast and you don't want it to burn. That's honestly it. That's the reason why. Just gonna move that around a bit. And so here I have some shrimp stock. So another thing you want to do, and this is good to know just for at-home cooking, you don't want to produce a lot of waste. So in this pot, I can show you it is shrimp shells, like scraps of the onion, the bottoms that were not nice enough to go with my beautiful dice, the scraps of the pepper, some scraps of the celery, some fresh thyme, and some garlic, like just the whole clove, skins and everything, and water. And cook that for like an hour or so. And so now that's going to help concentrate my seafood flavor. So again, it goes with the layering of flavors. If you don't have stock, seafood stock or chicken stock or vegetable stock, you can use water. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to add a little. And mix it. And also, my stock is hot. So even if you use just water, make sure that it's hot. So I don't know if you can see this, but I
Yep.
add a little bit and it's already pretty thick. That's
Yeah,
because of
it
the
was
roux.
great.
Yeah, that's because of the roux. I'm going to add a little bit more. But add a little at a time because you just want to incorporate all the roux.
Right. Now, when you say the water should be hot, are we talking boiling or just hot?
Just hot. It doesn't have to be boiling, just hot. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So now I got my roux mixed in. Just make sure it's like no chunks of roux or flour like left on the edges of the pan. Like I just had some attached to my spoon. All right. That's looking good. So we're gonna add a little bit more flavor. I got some thyme. It was fresh thyme once upon a time. Been in my refrigerator for a minute. But the good thing about that is that now it's dry, so I could just use my hands and all the leaves will come right off into my pan.
Nice. We have people
So fresh
talking
herbs are
about
important.
Airis, send me a plate. Where can I find the recipes? You guys see, we have the recipe and all of the ingredients. We're going to be sending it out in a newsletter so that you guys all have it with the breakdown of this. I've also seen that some of the people in the comments are asking about sharing it. If you want to share this live stream, the best places to share it from are from the Nomadness Travel Tribe fan page or our Nomadness Tribe YouTube. Both of them are also streaming live in conjunction to the tribe. The tribe itself is a private community. You guys all know it. And so when you try to share it from there, it's not going to go out. It's going to show as private. So No Madness Travel Tribe fan page or our YouTube also have this, and there's always save. We're saving all of these. So if you need it, let us know. But we do have the recipe and everything that's going to go out in a newsletter to follow up with this for sure. All right, back to you, Chef. Where we at?
All right. So got my stock in here. I'm just adding a little Cajun seasoning to it, because another key to Cajun Creole cuisine is that you should be able to eat everything on a plate by itself without having to like mix everything together to create one plate flavor. So like right now, even without the crawfish in it, this sauce should be good enough to just serve over some rice with just the Trinity in it. So you want to make sure you're just seasoning every step of the way lightly. And of course, if you can't have like salt, you're on a low sodium diet or something like that, then definitely, use your own discretion with that. We're not trying to kill nobody, make nobody stroke out here.
Definitely not.
Somebody about that is you can't have salt.
Somebody in the comments said the ancestors are strong with you, Chef.
The what? The ancestors?
They said the ancestors are strong with you, Chef. I love it.
Yeah. So now we're gonna add the main event, the crawfish tails. Just gonna taste one. Tastes delicious. I just tasted one just because, but they taste very well seasoned. And I'm adding them to my etouffee. All right. So we got those in there. Gonna give that a mix. Woo. Child, this is looking good. Too bad we social distancing.
Listen, I'm vegetarian. I would have been right there. Like, all right, hand me a plate.
I will. I'll drop it off. Uber Eats it to you. Yeah. So now we got everything in the pan. Another ingredient that goes well that I don't have are scallions. I actually had a little bit of scallions mixed in with my green peppers, so I tossed those in there. And now what happens now is you just want to let everything cook together. You want to let these flavors marry. And that's it for a minute. I'm going to taste it just to see where I'm at with it.
Your approval?
It's getting a little bit more stock. It's a little thicker than I want it to be, so I want to let it down a little bit. But it tastes really good.
Yeah. We have a question for you, Chef.
Yes.
How do you feel about Tony Chacher's Creole seasoning? A lot of New Orleans recipes call for it. And speak about your own seasonings also. What are you doing right now with your classes? Eartha, you may need to let go of these other seasonings and reinvest in some new. So let the people know.
Yeah. So Tony Chacher's, that's the name of it. That's how you say that one, Tony Chacher's. I grew up eating that stuff. As an adult, just have a few health issues, high blood pressure being one of them, hypertension. And so those seasoning salts, for me, they're too salty. Tony Chacher's in particular is actually pretty spicy. So if you don't like a lot of spice, it's kind of like the more Tonys you add, it's really, really flavorful and delicious. But also the more Tonys you add, the spicier it gets, the saltier it gets. And so you can't really for me, it's important to be able to control my salt in cooking just in general. So my alternative, I actually created my own spice blends. So I have my own line of spice blends, which I have on pause from selling just for now until I see what's happening with this whole COVID-19 situation. But they are low in sodium. So if you want to add more salt to them, you can, but they're low in sodium. So you can get all of those good flavors from the onion powder, garlic powder. I'm speaking on my Cajun seasoning. You can get all those good Cajun flavors without adding salt, 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 salt. So you can shake, 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 shake it, and you don't have to worry about your food being overly salty. You can just add your own salt as needed. So, you know, not even a shameless plug. ATC Spice Blends, arisfoods.com. That's where you could find them. I'll let everybody know when I start selling them again, when I feel like it's safe to produce them.
Awesome.
But yes,
Thank you. And
that is
we'll
my answer.
also make sure that that information is in the newsletter and the follow-up for you guys as well. And now you're doing these like online cooking classes, akin to what we're doing
Yeah.
here. I don't know what you want to tell the world about that right now, but yeah, let the people know.
Yeah. So, this whole COVID-19 like shocked the world, and it sent specifically my industry, the food industry, like into a tizzy. Luckily for me, I don't work, I'm not a chef at a restaurant. I work for myself. I have my own company. I teach, I do private dinner parties and stuff, but even those things are shut down. So I had to like quickly pivot my business, and I love teaching, and I saw that there was a problem with parents like day two. People were on social media like, yo, I hate my children. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. These teachers are sending home lesson plans. Like, I'm not a teacher. Like, woe is me, was like the distress call for all parents. So I'm like, yo, I like kids. I need to work. I can teach really well. Like, let me do some online classes. So currently, I'm doing online cooking classes with parents and kids. I can do them with just adults as well, but my focus now is parents and kids. And the idea is to cook with things that you already have in your house. So, being sensitive to the COVID-19 situation, we can't just run out and just buy a bunch of groceries. Also, in a lot of places, a lot of different groceries things are not even available for people to cook. So, just to teach kids like how to cook, but also teach them like some survival and adaptability skills. Let's see what you already have in your kitchen, like for this dish. I mean, I'm a chef, so my kitchen is like a little bit different. I got a little of this, a little of that. But, let's take, and I'm also using my chop skills too. Like, let's see what you have in your pantry, and I'll create a dish, and then I'll teach you and your kid how to make it. It's been very successful so far. Really proud of my students. If you check some of my social media, I'm going to start posting their plates, but I'm not playing. We're not making fruit parfaits and stuff. Yesterday, I had one of my 6-year-olds and 3-year-olds. They actually made etouffee, and they made etouffee with shrimp, andouille sausage, and chicken. So, I'm not playing. They did every step. They cut all the vegetables. So,
Nice.
yes.
Nice. So we have Krishna Davenport
Ooh.
just said, Airis Foods Creole seasoning hits hard. I add it to everything. So you have
Hey,
some consumers that are definitely watching this. Nicole Ratcliffe, I'm going to pop
hey.
you up here for a quick second. Nicole's question is, what times are those classes? So how are people able to actually schedule those classes and get the one-on-ones with you?
So what happens is you and we can drop the link in here after we're done. But you go online, pay on my website. I send you a welcome letter. The welcome letter has a link to like a 4-question questionnaire asking you like what's in your pantry, Do you feel comfortable with your kids using knives and fire? Because that's a big deal. And yeah, and then from there, I let you into my calendar. You can see the open dates and the open class times I have, and we just schedule a time from there. And if there's any like extra things I need you to know, like maybe your child is like only 4 or 5 years old and like your dish has multiple parts, maybe I'll send you an email ahead of time to be prepared. Like you're gonna need a 4-quart pot, a cutting board, a knife, a saute pan, maybe boil a pot of rice ahead of time, just so we can stick to the hour. So yep, that's how it works. I'm just gonna take this sauce. It's looking beautiful. You know, talk
We're gonna
about the
put the dip right up
ancestors. The
here
ancestors
again so that people
smiling.
can do that.
Yes. Mm. Yeah. This is the lick right here. This is the lick. So super simple. Like I taste everything. I taste the onions. I taste the garlic. I taste the peppers. I taste the crawfish. I taste the shrimp stock, which is giving it like some extra body, extra viscosity. What I'm sprinkling in now is some of my Cajun seasoning. So, like I said, you can use this stuff, go for it, and you can get all those good flavors from like the garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. Can't tell you what else is in there because then I have to kill you. But you get all that without the salt.
Nice. It looks good.
Like on a regular day, I would maybe let this cook for, actually, it's good enough to eat now, to be honest. Tomorrow it's going to taste even better. It's going to be absolutely delicious tomorrow. So yeah, but I'm just going to let it go for a second. I'm actually going to add a little cayenne pepper, just a pinch, just to give it a little kick. So yeah, let's talk about like spiciness when it comes to Cajun food. Cajun Creole does not mean spicy. Let's clear that up. It does not mean spicy. So when you say you're making your Cajun salmon or whatever at home and you put like a shit ton of cayenne pepper, talking about that's making it Cajun, the lie detector says that that is a lie. That's not how it goes. Spicy does not mean Cajun. Tell your friends, tell your mama and them. Spicy does not mean Cajun. Flavorful, flavorful is what I like to say.
I was about to say, so what would make the difference for people who don't know and are coming off of that very wrong assumption? What's the difference between the two?
The difference between what? Cajun and Creole, or spicy and non?
Spicy and Cajun. You said that a lot of people make that distinction. They jumble that up a bit. So what would be the
Yeah,
difference? What's the best distinction?
yeah. Spicy is spicy, and Cajun is just everything that I just showed you right here. It's building these flavors,
Got it.
using these fresh vegetables, fresh ingredients, and layering these very specific flavors on top of each other one by one by one. So not
Nice.
necessarily like pour on the cayenne pepper. Yeah.
Got it.
Mm, yep. So this is good to go. I'm just gonna turn it up. I'll put it close to the camera so you could see what's happening there. Wow. And I'm actually gonna put it on the back burner. And I'm gonna get ready to plate it.
Nice. Another question that's popping up is to
So
explain the
like I
difference
said,
between Cajun
the
and Creole.
I can't hear you, Evie.
Okay, it's fine.
I heard you, I read your lips saying, okay, that's fine. Oh, I see my mama is on there saying something. Hey, mama, I see your little face, your little Facebook face in the corner. My mama, I think my mama be trying to battle me in the kitchen, like low key. Since I became a chef, she be trying to battle. It's all right. Let's see. Since I can't hear Evie,
Can you hear me now?
yes, yes. So everything on the now I can hear you now, Evie. Yeah. So I have everything on the website right now as sold out. Just because I'm just trying to sort my life out as far as like COVID-19, like
Makes
getting it
sense.
delivered, getting it made, and everything fresh. Like I said, the food industry is kind of like at a standstill. So as soon as I sort
Right.
that out, like y'all will definitely be the first to know. But
Okay. So two
you know,
questions.
let's yes,
One is there a newsletter that they can sign up for so that when it does open up, this is what Marjorie's asking here. If there's a newsletter that they can sign up for, where can they find that list?
absolutely. So you can sign up for my newsletter on my website on arisfoods.com. You can
Perfect.
sign up. There's a sign up link there.
Awesome. And the second question was people wanted you to describe the difference between Creole and Cajun for folks who don't know.
Ooh. So Creole and Cajun. Let's see. Well, I'll start with a little bit of like Louisiana history. Like Louisiana was settled by Africans, French, Spanish from Spain, and we even had like a couple of Italians in there. So I would say like the difference between Cajun and Creole is really like demographics in the state of Louisiana. Like maybe in southeast Louisiana, which is like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, like maybe they'll cook crawfish etouffee a certain way. Maybe you'll go to northern Louisiana, maybe they might add tomatoes to the etouffee, or maybe you might get jambalaya that is tomato based and one part that might be considered Cajun. And then you'll get jambalaya that's a brown jambalaya that's used with like brown meats and bones and stuff like that. And that's a Creole jambalaya. So that's my best explanation. But for like the real hardcore facts, like check your Googles for sure. I don't want no Louisiana ancestors rolling over in their grave talking about you said what is the difference? You know. So I don't have any scallions, but I have some chives. That's like next best thing. And I'm just getting my garnish together. So like when you see people garnishing plates and it looks all fancy and they have nice herbs on top, like you want to always use herbs that make sense with the dish. So chives are in the garlic and onion family. Chives are like if garlic and onion had a baby, that's the flavor of chives. I have garlic, I have onions in my sauce, so it makes sense. Another thing I like to use too for that has really big flavor, if you can see, this is the light leaves of the celery. So if you go inside a celery, like a bunch, like a whole stalk, and go inside of it, and there's really light leaves, they have lots and lots of flavor. They're really overlooked. They're like my secret ingredient to a lot of things. So I'm just gonna chop up some chives. I'm gonna add a few into my sauce. Knife skills, I could teach you that. Take one of my classes. I just want to cut these. So like I said, I'm gonna add some now because continuing, we're going to build flavor all the way to the end. Like it's going to have flavor up into the point where it hits the plate and you eat it. And like you saw the ingredients, they're super simple, but when you taste this, it tastes really complex. I'm going to turn my sauce off. Going to add a little bit of my chives. To the pot. Put some on the side there.
This looks great. So essentially, this is going on rice. Is that what the final look is going to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a sauce that's served over rice. Yep.
Got it.
So I just cut my celery leaves. They smell really great, really fragrant. I'm going to put half in here. Put some on my plate as well. And you always want to taste your food too. I'm not just tasting it just because I'm hungry, but you want to taste as you go.
Right. I'm hungry
Taste as
now.
you cook because you might want to add a little something more of something or not.
Right. We have a question from Deborah. She said,
Yes,
if using chicken, does it have to be breast or what part of the chicken if we're swapping out for the crawfish?
it's whatever part of the chicken that you like.
There you
If you
go.
like breast, yeah, use breast. If you like dark meat, use dark meat. You know, it's whatever you like. But if you
Uh,
do use chicken, I will say this: just make sure that you cook it. You kind of brown it before you add it into the sauce. You don't want to cook it from raw into your etouffee. So you want to brown it a little bit first, but and then add it. So season it however you want to season it: salt, pepper, herbs, maybe some Cajun seasoning. Saute it on some high heat, and then you can add it into your sauce. Oh, that's my cousin. Hey, Deb. Yeah. So, anybody else have any questions?
we have Eartha's come up. She says, what else?
It's tasting pretty good.
Is it 5 filet for?
I'm gonna add just a little bit salt.
I feel like I'm not pronouncing it
It's a
right.
major key to. I can't hear you again, Evie. I lost you.
It's okay.
Yeah. Um. Oh, what else do you use filet for? So you can use filet for flavor, but filet is also a thickening agent as well. So filet will add body and viscosity to whatever you're using it in. It's commonly used in gumbo. So yeah, that's something that you could use filet for. And you don't want to just dump filet in. You do not. You want to use filet like pretty sparingly. But yeah, I would I've never added filet to etouffee, but because we got the roux and it's like, yeah, I wouldn't suggest using filet and etouffee, honestly. Because it's already a thick sauce with the roux. Like, I'm even going to let this down just a little with just a little more stock. But in gumbo, for sure. Or in anything else you want to give some viscosity, absolutely. I feel like filet is like a true, like, local New Orleans spice or season or herb, I guess. All right. So that's looking beautiful. And I'm going to plate. So hopefully y'all can see. Actually, let me write this down. I don't know if y'all can still hear me
Yeah, they can
or
hear
not.
you. You're good.
I couldn't hear Evie, but
You're good.
okay, now I can hear you again. All right. That's done looking good. Through some magic of TV stuff, I already had a pot of rice made. So you want to do stuff like that, like, you know, make it ahead. All right, and you can't see my plate. I'm gonna move it over. Can you see it now? Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna plate it nice and simple. I'm gonna put the rice down first because it's a sauce served over rice. You know, another good thing, note of advice about like gumbo. Like gumbo technically is a soup, but like if you meet somebody from New Orleans or Louisiana, like don't call gumbo a soup. It's more than a soup. It's like a powerhouse of flavor. Yeah. So I got my rice just in the middle of the plate. I'm just gonna plate it really, really naturally. Look at that. Etouffee. It's looking beautiful. I wish I had smello and tasto vision, but that's all right. I'll taste it for you. So you're gonna get a good amount of that. Right over the middle. A little bit more, a little extra. All that laying out.
It looks great.
Thank you. Hit it
Yeah.
with some fresh seasoning, fresh herbs, my celery leaves, so you get a nice punch of freshness with every bite. And
Nice.
that's it.
I love it.
Crawfish etouffee. Voila. There you go. All right.
Great, chef.
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
any other questions? Thank you.
Yes. One question from Maya. She says, what are the top three
Yes.
spices every new chef should have in their pantry?
Top three spices.
Yep.
You should definitely have salt. You should definitely have pepper. I would say onion powder, garlic powder. That's four, but definitely those. But then, as a bonus track, you should have fresh herbs. So, thyme is a real classic one. Rosemary is a good one, but it doesn't go with everything. So, if you're out here putting rosemary on your fish, stop that. That's not how it goes. But like tarragon. So like if you see different fresh herbs in your grocery store, like pick some up. Try it. If you have a question about the flavors, use your Googles. You could hit me up. I'll tell you what blends properly. But yeah, salt, pepper, fresh herbs. And then when you graduate beyond garlic powder and onion powder, you could play around with other things like cumin, uh, turmeric. If you are like into Caribbean or Indian food, like cumin, turmeric, those are like really prominent spices. And then you want to get into your seeds too, mustard seeds, um, uh, um, Jesus Christ, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, cinnamon, star anise. So like all of those things. I saw it was another question, but I couldn't see it.
No, it wasn't a question. It's actually people just bigging you up about how great everything looks.
Huh? What did you say? I didn't hear the first part.
It's
You
everybody
said,
bigging you up about how great everything looks. It's not even a question.
oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna, well, I want to take a picture of this, but also want to eat it.
definitely. And
But
we're gonna
thank
let you
you.
eat. We're definitely gonna let you eat. Last question coming from our viewers is, what are your favorite ingredients to cook with?
Oh, my favorite ingredients to cook with. That's a hard one. Because I like cooking all types of ingredients. I really like to cook meat. I like to cook meat. I know that sounds strange, but I like to cook meat, different cuts of meat, because they all have to be cooked and manipulated in different ways. So I like to cook like various types of beef, from like filet mignon to brisket to short ribs. Yeah, I like to cook meat. I think that meat is really challenging. I like to cook vegetables. I like to use a lot of fresh herbs and spices. What else are my favorites? I don't know, I like to cook fish. I like to cook all types of things. Yeah, that's
I love it. I
like a
love
hard question to ask a chef. Like, what's your favorite cook? What's your style of cooking? Like, those are hard questions for any chef to answer. But I just like to cook
it.
and
Right,
eat.
right.
I think I like to eat. I like to eat more than cook.
Don't we all? Well, Chef,
Right?
thank you so much for your time today, for your expertise. We appreciate it. Maybe doing this again, depending on how long this quarantine lasts. But it's been an amazing,
Right.
amazing ride with you today. So thank you so much. And please enjoy your food, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
y'all. Bye.